Good evening, everyone. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for Varsity basketball competition. Please welcome our guests from Lake Region High School. They are the Thunder. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we ask that you please stand as we honor America, the playing of our national anthem. And now, let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Lake Region, and we'll start at guard with 5'11" sophomore, number 1, Jodner Eisenati. At guard, 5'11" sophomore, number 10, Brenton McKinney. At forward, 5'11" senior, number 24, Andrew Lee. At shooting guard, 5'9" freshman, number 30, Trevin West. And finally, for the Thunder, at guard and small forward, 6' freshman, number 3, Jamarius Edler. And the coach of the Thunder, Mr. Arinthius Simmons. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting at guard, 6'3", sophomore, number 21, Lucy Prophet. At guard, 5'10", junior, number 12, Abia Charles. At small forward, 6'5", junior, number 4, Isaiah Bannister Doucette. At small forward, 6'2", senior, number 11, Pete Lewis. And finally for the Mustangs, at guard, 6'1", senior, number 3, Jamarick Hammond. The head coach of the Mustangs, Mr. Jacino Lubin. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. For those of you here in the arena, we want to remind you that we are live streaming tonight's game. If you have friends or family who are back elsewhere in Apopka, somewhere in Eagle Lake, or anywhere in the world, just have them head over to the YouTube app on their favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device and search for Wekiva Sports. We also simulcast on the NFHS network if you have any friends or family that are members there. And for those of you who are doing just that, we want to welcome you to Mustang Arena. My name is Mark Barchi, voice of the Mustangs and Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School, joined by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief, and we are ready to take you through Monday night basketball action.
Wekiva comes in with a 2-4 record. You can put an asterisk next to that name. 3 state-ranked teams, including Dr. Phillips, number 1 in Class 7A in the defending state champ. As we get the drive to the hoop, dish out to Charles, clinks off the rim, Doucette, clearing the boards and going bank for the first deuce of the game.
Isaiah Bannister Doucette puts the Mustangs on the board.
So Lake Region, no, they are not a first-year school, but for all intent and purposes, as the turnover Hammond, they are. Coach Simmons, of course, a former member of Coach Lubin's staff. He told me before the game they have no experience in terms of varsity. The players playing at the varsity level and certainly shown a 1-5 record. They were exactly in the same position Wekiva was 2 seasons and a little bit of change ago. So 2-0, Wekiva in the lead. And
Neil, this is a rematch of a game that we saw in the preseason classic.
Yeah, and Wekiva took that handily, winning by over 30 points. Very systematic effort as Prophet launches. Short, battle underneath, Doucette skying for the rebound, unable to control it. Some good defensive board work there for Lake Region. The Eagles
And it should also be noted that the Thunder are a little short-staffed tonight as we get a stolen layup by Abia Charles. And we will pause for a timeout. 30-second timeout requested by the Thunder.
Coach Simmons immediately jumping up again. A team with no varsity experience, and they're down 4-0, a minute and a half into this game on Monday night for Mustang Arena.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena.
Okay, Mustang Arena, the site. 4-2 the score as the Lake Region Thunder just scored a deuce. We apologize, had some technical difficulties and a second consecutive timeout. Flurry of timeouts here. And we do apologize. The first timeout when we went to that first break was actually taken by Wekiva. So once again, Lake Region, the Thunder from Eagle Lake. They are 1-5 coming in tonight. As young as can be team. No player on this team has ever played varsity before this season. Their coach, O.J. Simmons, was a member of Coach Scott Williams, who's now at Apopka. But, of course, he was the first coach, started the program here at Wekiva. And he was a coaching mate of Coach Lubin under Coach Williams. And then, of course, when Coach Lubin was promoted to the head position after Coach Williams left, Coach Simmons remained on his staff. Lake Region in the light blue on defense. This is Jameric Hammond bringing the ball up. Of course, Hammond, the senior guard, certainly finding his groove over the last 2 or 3 games. He scored 25 in the game on Saturday against Lake Marion.
And as we started to mention, as Profit turns the ball over out of bounds.
Actually, excuse me, that was 12 points against North Marion on Saturday, 22 against Ocoee on Friday, averaging 18 points per game.
Transition opportunity for the Thunder, and it falls. That's Brenton McKinney adding 2 for Lake Region.
So Lake Region answering Wekiva, tying the game up 4-4, 4 consecutive points. Sandwiched around a bit of an odd situation, a couple of timeouts, not even 2 minutes into the game. 5.5 before the end of the first quarter. Hammond extended right, directing traffic.
And as we started to mention before those timeouts, Neil, Lake Region a little short-staffed tonight. Only 6 players able to make the trip. One of them is a JV promotion, just to fill out the roster and give them the ability to put someone into the game if they need to. But otherwise, the 5 starters are pretty much what you've got for Lake Region tonight.
So I will say this, so Mark, again, you pointed out that Wekiva and Lake Region played in the preseason classic. Wekiva won that game easily, a very systematic performance, plus 30 victory. They do look a lot better. They do look like with that experience. And again, trials and tribulations, but they do look like the quality of play has at least trended upwards. This is the pass into Allen, who gets rejected by Doucette. Excuse me, that's McKinley, who tried to take the shot. Now McKinley passes it out to West. West over to Izanati, the bounce pass underneath along the baseline and off the bank. McKinley
from Izanati for 2.
So Lake Region with a 6-4 lead, 3.5 minutes into this game. Again, thank you for joining us from Mustang Arena. Livingston over to Hardy, who's come in. Back to Livingston, as has Livingston. Down low to Profit, finds Doucette. His path cut off by the defense. And again, some good team rebounding by the Thunder, the Lake Region. So Lee with the dribble over to Edler down into the left corner. That's McKinley. Drives that baseline, pulls up, and gets the finger roll deuce.
Benton McKinley with the baseline layup. And we'll pause for the Mustangs' third timeout, full timeout called by Wekiva. So the Mustangs...
Lake Region certainly righting the ship. 8 straight.
Yeah, and just 4 minutes and change into the game. Wekiva's already had to spend 3 of their timeouts. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher to take you through the back 4 minutes of the first period. As Wekiva struggling, this is a game that they easily handled during the preseason. Tonight, not so much, in spite of the fact that the deck would seem to be stacked in their favor.
Yeah, an 8-0 run by the Lake Region Eagles. Hammond from the corner. And finds the bottom
Hammond from Darius Livingston for 3.
So certainly, if you're Wekiva, that's got to give you a lift, a spring in your foot. In the meantime, West down to the right corner, driving that lane is Edler, and he draws the foul as well.
Foul called against Mustangs, number 34, Joshua Griffin, his first and the team's first at the line shooting 2, number 3, Jamarius Edler.
So Griffin, the football turned basketball player, 5'10" senior, drawing his first foul as Mark just indicated. So Wekiva scored the first 4 points, and pretty much that was the script you would expect. Lake Region coming in 1-5, a very young team, no players with any varsity experience, but then 8 straight by Lake Region, and an opportunity to reclaim some momentum goes by the wayside with the 2 missed free throws, but we do have a whistle.
Lane violation, 1 more shot coming to Edler.
So those are those subtle mistakes, Mark, that coaches lament about. So Edler with the second opportunity scores. And now Wekiva turns the ball over.
Out of bounds, Thunder ball. So just over 3 minutes remaining in the first. And again, Neil, you would imagine that playing against a 1-5 team that's played a much weaker schedule than Wekiva and was defeated by running clock in the preseason, you might have placed pretty heavy odds on Wekiva coming into this game, and yet this has been a struggle for Wekiva, although they do catch a break here as Jamarick Hammond is fouled on his way up. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against number 30, Trevin West. That's his first and the team's first.
So Hammond, the senior point guard, a 4-year player on the varsity team, 3-year starter. He comes into this game averaging 17 points a game and 4 assists. And he ties it up on the deuce. Pair of free throws. And now Wekiva going to that full court press. And once again, Lake Region does not have a player with any varsity experience, and it pays off there for Lake Region. They haven't seen a lot of this fast-paced action, and score the deuce for Davis.
Livingston to Davis for 2.
And Wekiva back in the lead, 2:28 remaining in the first quarter. Lake Region brings that ball down quickly. This is West launching, McKinley. Hardy clearing the board. The long outlet to Hammond, spins around, makes the contact just enough to throw his shot off. And now Lake Region again going with those long outlet passes. Doing the rebounding is Anati. He had a couple of opportunities, but now the third, Davis grabbing the rebound. And another turnover. That's 5 turnovers for Wekiva. And at the other end is Anati, unable to get the right angle. And we continue to go back and forth. And now Wekiva's going to slow the pace down, walk it up. That is Livingston. And he will also take the shot. Long, too long, and doing the rebounding is West.
So we've had really some struggles on both ends. Neither one of these teams really able to find their rhythm. And we'll pause for a tray here that's
From
just
West.
a little too hot from West. Rebounded on the floor.
Yeah, we've seen so far, really, these teams, I'd say roughly 2-minute stretches of good, consistent, quality play and then inconsistent play.
Jodner Izanati is called on the foul, his first and the team's second. Now, it should be noted that's only the second foul in the books for Lake Region, but they have to be exceptionally careful with fouls tonight. They only have one bench player available.
Hammond, in the meantime, stop, pops, but no drops. And some good team defense from Lake Region, especially good recovery defense, getting in Hammond's face. 1:08 remaining in the first quarter, 11-9. Wekiva in the lead. They've scored the last 4 points against Lake Region. They have possession of the ball. That's Davis taking the outlet, or the inlet pass.
Nice bounce pass, and he's got it.
Hammond.
Davis to Jamaric Hammond for 2.
So Hammond continues to lead the way as we come down the other way.
McKinney fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Thunder. Mustang foul is called against number 3, Jamaric Hammond. That's his first personal foul, the team's second.
So Hammond does have 7 points, although he did, as Mark just indicate, commit the foul. And McKinley is actually number 2 overall. The leading scorer for Lake Region was 6 points. But once again, an opportunity goes by the wayside, the free throw. And a 13-10 ball game as Livingston extended left, bounces in. This is Doucette out to Hardy, down low to Hammond in the middle of the paint. And
Hammond threw the ball away, out of bounds, Thunder ball.
6 turnovers for Wekiva.
Yeah, he was looking for Kerry Davis there, but I guess Davis zigged when he should have zagged. And so the bounce pass bounces right out of bounds. The Thunder take over, and yeah, this has been a bit of a fracas the whole way through. Trey from the corner, not going to be there.
Coming back the other way, 30 seconds, a 7th turnover for Wekiva. In less than a quarter, West, he'll hold on to the ball as we drop under 30 seconds. Izanati into the corner. Back to Izanati. Over to Lee, the shot. And again, a scramble to get that rebound with 12 seconds remaining.
Traveling, Mustangs ball, as Edler there was not able to get his footing as he came down with it. That's one of those that, for all of the turnovers that make you go dough and really scar the stat sheet, that's a turnover that really, he didn't earn.
One last opportunity for Wekiva, and drain the ring!
Darius Livingston to Jermaine Hardy for 3, and that takes us to the end of the first quarter. That puts up a 16-10 advantage for the Mustangs at the end of the opening 8 minutes.
And so Wekiva will go into the break as, as solid as possible, scoring 8 of the last 9 points. And as Mark said, 16-10 heading into the second quarter from Mustang Arena.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. It's been rough going for both teams, but the Mustangs so far have gotten the better of it. 16-10 the score coming out of the first break. The Thunder have the opening possession of the second quarter.
Wekiva with a 16-10 lead, as Mark just said. They're coming off of their two best games of the season, albeit we are still not even a third of the way into the season with only 6 games. They beat Ocoee and then lost by 61-57 score to North Marion. That's Wets launching off the rim. Livingston, nice job on the rebound, and he'll lead the attack. Stop, pop, no drop off the left side, but Doucette tracking down that loose ball, and unfortunately he can't stay in bounds, though.
So in the interest of not putting any more turnovers in the book, I'm going to call that a rebound out of bounds rather than a rebound and then stepping out for a turnover.
And meantime, Wekiva continues with the full court defense. This is Lake Region now, and intercepted by Hardy. Looked like a defensive back, jumping the route. Profit, the fresh sophomore, up and under move, no dice, but grabbing the Windex and doing bank is Doucette.
Isaiah Bannister on the second chance basket.
So Wekiva turned the ball over 7 times in that first quarter, but nonetheless, they are now on a 10-1 run. They were actually down 9-7.
Well, Neil, you and I have talked about this, that when Wekiva plays an elite team like OCP or Dr. Phillips or Windermere, they have a tendency to create problems for themselves because they get in a hole early. And in this case, it seems also that Wekiva struggled to find their footing, but they're getting away with it tonight. Yeah, we get a foul called against number 30, Trevin West, his second personal foul, and the team's third.
Yeah, Wekiva, I wouldn't necessarily say at the very beginning, because they did actually score the first 4 points, but then they had about a 4-minute drought.
And that is the type of performance that will get you into big trouble against OCP, Dr. Phillips, Windermere, etc. They may get away with it tonight, but that's something that I know Coach Lubin is working on with them, is that mental focus out of the gate.
Yeah, and I also brought up the loss to North Marion along with the victory the previous night that was on Friday and Saturday, because you do think after those 2 games there is some consistency in terms of the quality. The launch, meanwhile, from Lee, and that's going to go out of bounds, and Wekiva will take, Lake Region.
Yeah, that's going to be an offensive rebound. 6:13 to go here in the second. Both of these teams still trying to calibrate their bearings a little bit, although it is starting to gel for Wekiva here as we get into the second quarter.
Izanati with the finger roll.
Jodner Izanati from the paint for 2.
And cuts the lead to 18-12, 6 minutes before halftime. Wekiva, that's Profit, taking the pass from Livingston. Nice stop-and-go move, but can't drop the deuce.
They're going to say that's off of the Thunder, so the Mustangs will get another chance at this here.
So Wekiva scoring an average of 68 points, giving up an average of 71 on defense. Inbound pass to Charles, the spin. And Doucette doing board work. And now it's Charles picking up that loose ball and going bank for
Avia Charles with a third chance basket for Wekiva. 4 points for him tonight. 5.5 to go here in the second quarter, and now the Mustangs seem to have figured things out as we get a steal by Bannister, going the other way in transition, and there's the J. Jermaine Hardy on the pass to Avia Charles.
So Hardy's 6-foot J gives Wekiva its biggest lead of the game at 10, 5 minutes before halftime, and now
in trouble, getting double-teamed by Charles, and Livingston will force the Thunder to take a timeout. 30-second timeout requested by the Thunder.
And so the run continues, a 15-3 margin since about a minute left in that first quarter. 22-12, Wekiva in the lead from Mustang Arena.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher to take you through the last 5 minutes of the first half.
And this is Lake Region, the drive.
And they're going to get a block.
And
Edler is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Thunder. Mustang foul is called against number 21, Vosi Prophet. That's his first personal foul, the team's third.
And so as you heard Mark just call.
Basket is good by Edler. He'll be at the line shooting for the three-point play.
Only 3 fouls on Wekiva. Same for Lake Region. So certainly fouls are not an issue right now. As Edler tries to get the old school three-point play, does not. And skying for that rebound is Bannister Doucette. Hands off to Livingston. Charles extended left. And so if you're Wekiva, I think you have to at least somewhat feel good. 7 turnovers in that first corner as Livingston launches. Does not get the rebound. Doucette gets the rebound. Hardy from the right. He will not be able to find the range either. So far, although be it we're not halfway through the second quarter, Wekiva's not turned the ball over yet. So again,
the turnovers are actually 7 and 7. But to your point, Neil.
Yeah, I think you got to at least feel somewhat more comfortable and optimistic if you're Wekiva.
Double team pushing him all the way to the end line. And Thunder, no, they do not get out of it. It's stolen by Bannister. Going the other way, so that pressure pays off as Darius Livingston picks up the Mustang layup.
So Wekiva continues with that full court press, and now Prophet, like a defensive back, jumps the route.
Vosi Prophet steals a layup for Wekiva.
And that ups the lead to 12.
Bad bounce pass.
And we'll come back the other way. Prophet getting the pass, goes 1-on-3. And again, the inexperience of Lake Region coming to the forefront.
Foul called against number 10, Brenton McKinney. That's his first personal foul, the team's fourth. Jamaric Hammond returns to the game for Wekiva. And that foul was on the floor. It will be Mustangs ball at the opposing baseline.
So the inbound from Livingston, 3:40 before halftime. Wekiva 26-14. They were down 9-7, tied the game at 9-9 with about a minute remaining. And since then, it's been all Wekiva against this 1-5 Lake Region team. Inbound to Hammond. He steps out, now drives into the lane, attacks, short, clearing the boards is Edler. And now looking for that transition. This time they do a nice job of getting that ball up. They had a couple turnovers on the previous attempts to get the ball up the court. McKinley comes up to the top, into the corner. The drive along the baseline.
Blocked.
That was Izanati. Hammond picks up the loose ball. We come back the other way.
Charles with the block. Hammond on the rebound. Hardy can't get it to drop from the baseline.
But the second chance point by Hammond.
Jamaric Hammond gets the Mustang putback.
Right place, right time for the senior, who now has 9 points. And another loose ball. But unfortunately, over-aggressiveness by Wekiva. And that stops the clock with 2:37 remaining and the foul on Prophet.
Jodner Eisenati at the line after being fouled by Vosi Prophet, his second, the team's fourth. Checking into the game for the Mustangs, Pete Lewis.
So another trend to keep an eye on, Mark. Wekiva shooting 46% from two-point range. Certainly a respectable mark, but 34 from three-point range. So they have not taken a lot of three-pointers. And certainly they're going to have to work on their three-point shooting as the season progresses. Obviously, tonight that has not been an issue, though. They're getting by with the 2 points. And speaking of 2 points, there won't be a shot, but along the baseline.
Prophet is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for Wekiva. The foul is called against number 3, Jamarius Edler. That's his first personal foul and the team's fifth. So, again, the Thunder have to be exceptionally careful tonight about those fouls because they only have one reserve, and that one reserve is actually not on their varsity roster. That being said, they have done a good job. Even though they have 5 fouls in the books, no one has more than 2. We've got Eisenati, Edler, and McKinney with 1 each, West with 2. So far that's not becoming a factor, but it is something that they have to keep watching.
Yeah, and to your point, Mark, that makes the next 2 minutes, 19 seconds, as Hammond does the Windex but gets rejected. Lake Region, it is critical for Lake Region to stay, not get more than a couple of fouls in these last couple of minutes.
To the corner. He'll take it himself and air ball for Eisenati. And we're going to get on the rebound a held ball. Possession Mustangs. So Pete Lewis gets credit for the rebound since the possession arrow was in his favor.
And Wekiva chance to up a 28-14 lead. 2 minutes exactly before halftime from Mustang Arena. It's the Lake Region in the blue jerseys on defense. Wekiva with possession in the white jerseys. That's Profit down on the corner, back up to the top to Livingston, into Hammond. Another stop and go, dishes off, back out to Charles on the right wing. Too much heat, and loose ball again created.
Pete Lewis chases it down, tries to get the second chance bucket, not there. Rebound to Edler, going in transition the other way, but can't chase it down for West. Gets it to the baseline and blocked by Hammond.
Yeah, 3 Mustangs surrounding West, and now Profit takes it himself and goes bank for the deuce.
Bosi Profit on the Mustang layup.
So Profit.
I see Coach Simmons trying to tear his hair out if he had any to tear.
And this is Edler,
An anemic jump shot there, and they're going to say, though, that Livingston touched it last. So
the defense has picked up for Wekiva, not only in terms of them getting in the way of the ball carrier in setting up any type of shot, but the intensity as well.
Pete Lewis comes out of the game, and we get a 3-point basket from Trevin West.
So that cuts the lead to 30-17, just under 1 minute before halftime. Hammond at the top, spins around, gives it back to Livingston, the freshman. Back to Profit. Profit and Livingston. Profit a sophomore, Livingston a freshman. Still trying to find their game somewhat. That's short. Hammond picks up the loose ball, but immediately met by McKinney. Lee.
And we go the other way. 3 is off the mark this time for West. Hammond comes down with the rebound, going the other way. 25 seconds to go in the half. To Livingston for 3. There it is. Javaric Hammond to Darius Livingston for 3.
And hand on the ball by Profit. There's what I was talking to you about. Just better location, better anticipation, but most of all, better intensity. The intensity on the defensive end has certainly picked up in the second quarter. Livingston, interception, takes it himself.
Darius Livingston steals the Mustang layup.
35-17. Lake Region needs some points to end this first half. The drive, and mission accomplished by Eisenati.
Jodner Eisenati in transition, and that will be the last word of the first half. The Mustangs, after a slow start, explode in the second quarter. 35-19 is your score at halftime here in the varsity contest.
So a 9-7 lead was held by Lake Region with about a minute remaining. Wekiva then went on a 7-0 run, and since that, they have outscored the Thunder by a 28-10 score. The region getting some of those points back, as March mentioned, getting the last 4 points to cut the lead to 16, but still they have the work to do. We'll be back for the second half. Once again, 35-19, Wekiva looking to up its record to 3-4 from Mustang Arena.
The Thunder have the opening possession of the second half.
And
welcome back to Mustang Arena. This is Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher, ready to take you through the second half of a game that had kind of a rocky start for both teams, but the Mustangs seemed to find their rhythm getting into the second quarter, and, well, that's...
right off the bat, 7 seconds in, a foul.
No, it's not a foul. That's a timeout.
Okay.
Coach Simmons says, I already don't like what I'm seeing here, so we'll pause for a 30-second timeout requested by the Thunder. I don't know if he saw what the Mustangs were running for defense and wanted to change course, or if he just didn't like what he was seeing from his own team, but one way or the other, we get 7 seconds in and we already take a timeout. At this point, I don't even think it's worth going to break.
So Wekiva was actually trailing, as Mark alluded to, a rocky start, 9-7, a minute remaining in the second quarter. Since then, Wekiva has outscored Lake Region, who has possession 28-10. Your leading scorer, Jamerick Hammond, the senior, with 9 points. Lake Region did close out that first half with 4 consecutive points, so certainly something to build on.
Held ball, possession, Mustangs.
But just as quickly, Wekiva answers that momentum by getting the turnover. And we'll go back the other way. Charles, extended left. Hammond at the top of the key, back to Charles. So Wekiva coming in with a 2-4 record as Hammond launches.
Jamarick Hammond for 3 on the pass from Abia Charles.
And that ups the lead to 38-19. Not even a minute into the second half. Wekiva's biggest lead, rims in and out for McKinley. And Hammond clearing the boards. He'll lead the charge down the other end. They cross the paint pass to Charles. Fakes, drives, can't get the deuce to drop. And the ball will go back to Lake Region. So Wekiva now more in range of meeting their average scoring at 68 points a game. And
blocked by Bannister. And he takes the rebound himself.
Hammond, left, right, down to the corner. Profit, back to Charles, extended right. Lopes over that rim. Profit picks up the loose ball, and stop, pops in, drops it in.
Profit on a second chance jumper.
So Wekiva coming out, scoring the first 5 points of the second half, and now the lead back up to over 20, which is what you would expect looking at the records. 1-5 for Lake Region, 2-4 for Wekiva. If you don't follow high school basketball in Central Florida, doesn't look like much of a difference. But again, Wekiva took on 3 state-ranked teams as McKinley can't get the tray to drop. Blocked by Doucette, comes back down to Lake Region. The long range short, that was West. And at the other end, Profit goes bank.
Vosi Profit on the long transition pass from Bannister for 2.
So Wekiva beginning the season with OCP, Windermere, and DP as the drive slashed out of bounds. And Wekiva will get possession. Those 3 teams, again, OCP, Orlando Christian Prep, Windermere, and Dr. Phillips, all ranked in the top 10 statewide in their classifications. Of course, Windermere and DP both Class 7A. DP, the defending state champion as well. And one of the few turnovers we've seen since that first quarter by Wekiva. Now, Lake Region needs to take advantage of it, down by 23. Double teamed in the corner. That was Edler, and
held ball, possession, Thunder. So that's Pete Lewis that got in there, and while he's not able to pick up the turnover this time, he does at least pick up the possession arrow for the Mustangs.
And so Lake Region maintains possession. And again, even if you don't get possession of the ball, the defensive team, here we do though. Long outlet to Profit. Tries to go for the slam.
Profit is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 for the Mustangs. The foul is called against number 10, Bretton McKinley. That's his second personal foul and the team's first of this half.
When you do knock a ball out, and the result was really that turnover that Wekiva created, it does take the offense out of its rhythm. They have to reset and refocus. And again, I think that was part of the reason why we just saw that turnover, which then, of course, led to Profit at the free throw line. So Profit sinks both, and now Wekiva seems to have found their basketball legs, if you will. They're more of a transition team, and certainly tonight probably a 2-1 scoring in transition, as that was Izanati who draws the foul.
Block is called against Mustangs number 4, Isaiah Bannister.
But
that's his first personal foul, the team's first, and it sends Izanati to the line to shoot 2 for the Thunder.
But Wekiva certainly seems to be playing a very all-around game, a very balanced game.
And that's an important hurdle for the Mustangs to demonstrate proficiency. And I think Coach Lubin will take this back with him to the locker room that, Wekiva had a rough start to this game, but they didn't let it get to them. They managed to recover.
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about a lot this season in the early going, Mark, compared to even last season, certainly 2 seasons ago, when they were in the same position as that was that was Hammond who took the shot. 2 seasons ago, Wekiva did not have one player on their team with any varsity experience.
And so that resiliency is particularly critical, knowing what Wekiva faces in the back half of their schedule, that, if when things go wrong, you have to be able to bounce back. And certainly there was a lot going wrong for Wekiva at the beginning of this game, and they did indeed bounce back.
Namely turnovers, 7 in the first quarter, as Hammond slices the shot off that rim. 7 turnovers in that first quarter for Wekiva. About 3/4 of Lake Region's points coming from turnovers. Of course, we said this over and over, but you don't have to be a basketball guru to understand when you're turning the ball over, you're opening the door for your opponent to get transition opportunities. Lake Region with the ball, and Izanati, the up and down move in the paint, draws the foul.
Jodner Izanati fouled on the attempt. He'll be at the line shooting 2 for the Thunder. The foul is called against Isaiah Bannister, his second, and the team's second.
So, again, going back to the turnovers, Mark, Wekiva averaging 15 and change per game. They're at least now, looks like they're on pace to at least equal that after, again, 7 turnovers in the first quarter. In the meantime,
Mustangs put in a fire drill. Livingston, Davis, Profit, Hardy, and Griffin on the court now. Profit the only one remaining on the court.
And Lake Region has also left some points on the board at the free throw line as well. I believe they've missed at least half a dozen. I'd still be down by double digits, but certainly
they're 5 of 11 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, so 6 have been missed. This is Profit, who slams the ball.
Bopsy Profit, 4-3 from Darius Livingston.
And that'll up the lead to 47-22. 3:30 before the fourth quarter. Long-range Trey.
Doesn't go, and Griffin pulls down the rebound. Transition opportunity for Profit. Waits his turn.
Hardy with the rebound, doing the Windex work. Griffin tips it over to Hardy, and Hardy with the putback.
Jermaine Hardy with the second chance basket for Wekiva. Really the 4th chance, I think, but we'll call it that.
Well, the second chance for Hardy.
Yes.
4th team. And 3 minutes remaining, 49-22. Again, Wekiva looking like it's much more comfortable now. Griffin doing the Windex work. And Livingston, the freshman, will bring the ball up over to Carey, who drops back, tries to fade away, does not connect. And Lake Region an opportunity to come into that 27-point lead. Lake Region 1-5. Down in the left corner, rims in and out. Griffin doing the Windex work, getting that big body. Profit at the last pass, rejected, but picks up that loose ball. Hardy back to Livingston, who now goes to Profit. Connects on the back of the rim, but not with the net.
Edler on the rebound, and now the Mustangs will fall back for the half-court set with 2:20 remaining in the third quarter. Down the baseline, Izanati doesn't have anything, goes to the other corner. Not there, will swing around. McKinney tries to punch in, Gets a high pass into the paint, a dangerous pass that doesn't work out, and so the tray out to Lee, not there either. Profit gets the rebound, rough pass. Mustangs recover, and it's Kerry Davis for two. Well, that was a dangerous way to get there, but it worked out.
So Edler drives that lane, and he's met by Hardy. Profit gets the pass after the rebound, and he'll take the ball out for a half a second. Now drives and finger rolls the
Varsity Profit on the afterburners for two.
The attack and the nice soft touch on the finger roll ups the lead to 53-22, 1:34 remaining.
Full timeout. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through the last 94 seconds of the third period. And we want to welcome our Mustang cheerleaders. Special thanks to the cheerleaders joining us all season long and adding some extra pep to our basketball events. We encourage you to participate in their cheers, and thank you for coming out to support your Mustangs tonight.
And also want to acknowledge the broadcast production department at Wekiva, headed up by Keith Dickerson. Of course, the students, under Mr. Dickerson's direction, handle the video aspects of the broadcast, bring you those great pictures. Lake Region with possession, looking to cut into that lead. Hammond, the senior, doing some board work. Nice rebound, great form. Crosses midcourt, takes it himself, drives the lane now. The up and over move, no dice. And picking up the loose ball is McKinley with 1 minute left, who's now guarded by Hammond. Lake Region in the blue uniforms. And this is West, who launches, connects with the rim, but too much heat. Back up to McKinley, who tries the soft floater, can't get the drop. Hardy skies, comes down the other way, and tries to make a lead pass into Lewis. Good idea.
Thunder ball. Now, something else I want to point out here, Neil, is, again, Lake Region only brought one sub, and that one sub has not seen any action yet. So all 5 players in this game on Lake Region side have seen all 24 minutes of action, and that's got to start to be wearing on them.
Yeah, 30 seconds from the fourth quarter, and the rain falls.
Andrew Lee from Trevin West for 3.
Cuts the lead to 53-25. Wekiva wastes no time back at the other end, but a little too much energy, a little bit too much aggression, unable to control the ball.
Anytime you try for those transition plays, it's always high risk, high reward. If you can execute it properly, it has a very high chance of success, but is extremely difficult to execute properly. It also has a high risk of failure.
So West bounces the ball to McKinley, 10 seconds. West and McKinley, two-man game. Now they get Edler involved. He's going to drive that left lane and draws the foul. Nice move, nice idea, and good execution by Edler to draw the foul.
Foul is called against Mustangs number 1, Darius Livingston. It's his first and the team's third. It will send the Thunder to the free throw line. Jamarius Edler shooting 2.
And while we got a break in the action, Mark, of course, Wednesday night, a little preview. Wekiva, the girls basketball team, will be returning home. Of course, the 3-time state championship final and 2-time state champion, 2019, the most recent. Off to their best start ever under Coach Butts at 10-0. And they've
including
been playing,
Colonial. I mean, for heaven's sake.
And I was going to say, that isn't 10-0 against a bunch of under 500 teams. They've taken out at least half those teams are state ranked. So
Colonial, American Heritage, I mean, some real quality wins.
Miami, who of course they beat in the 2019 state championship final.
That takes us to the end of the third period, and the Mustangs enjoy a 53-27 lead with 8 minutes left to play in the varsity contest. We'll be back with the fourth quarter here at Mustang Arena after a quick break.
A 53-27 lead enjoyed by the Wekiva Mustangs over the Lake Region Thunder. As we begin the fourth quarter, this is action from Mustang Arena. And Mark, I'm Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi.
The Mustangs have the opening possession of the fourth quarter.
Who does the public address duties as well as teams up with me. He just heard his voice. We were talking as Hammond slashes and dashes.
Jamaric Hammond from Darius Livingston to open up fourth quarter scoring.
And now the turnover. Before we went to break, talking about the Wekiva women's basketball team off to a 10-0 start, the best ever under Coach Butts. And that says something when you consider they've won 2 state championships, been to 5 state championship finals and 5 state semifinals, as the bank from Doucette.
Darius Livingston to Isaiah Bannister.
But also want to congratulate Coach Butts. 300 wins now as a head coach. Started his career at Blanche Eli, came up to Wekiva 10 seasons ago, and again, turned what was I guess you could call it an afterthought when you thought of description.
Foul called against number 11, Pete Lewis, his first, the team's fourth.
Afterthought description of Wekiva into a perennial state power.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, no season statistically more successful than this one so far, as we get another Mustang foul here. Foul called against Mustangs number 4, Isaiah Bannister, his third, and the team's fifth.
So once again, congrats to Tommy Butts. 300 wins, picked it up last week against Colonial, another state power.
So
as
on
the drive along the baseline and the charge by West. That was
charge taken by Jamaric Hammond and called against Trevin West. It's his third personal foul, the team's second. So on deck for the ladies this week, Eustace and Dr. Phillips, which again, you don't ever take any game for granted, but DP was one of the top performers in the Metro Championships earlier this year. They finished, I believe, in third place. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe they did. I know they made it to the semifinal game. Of course, they got upset by Apopka.
Right, and so they were favored to be the runner-up.
Although it wasn't a super big, it was a 2-against-3 matchup.
Of course, and so that was a little bit of an upset there, but they are arguably in the top 3 programs. I think most people would agree on that in Orange County.
And speaking of Dr. Phillips, as Lake Region continues to try to keep that lead under 30, that is Lee, who
goes off the backboard equipment.
Coach Butts mentioned he's won 2 state championships as the head coach here at Wekiva, 2014 and 19, but he also won a state championship as a part of Dr. Phillips' coaching staff in 2013. He also won it as a player at Blanche Eli. So 4 state championships to Coach Butts, in addition to not only as a head coach. That's Jamaric Hammond, finger rolling the deuce. And so also, for those of you, as that is Izanati unable to drop the deuce and come back the other way, Livingston taking the pass from Hammond, slashes and dashes and draws the foul.
Number 3, Jamarius Edler, on his second personal foul, the team's third, and it will send Darius Livingston to the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs.
So Anthony Jones, who is the head coach at Dr. Phillips, and again we mentioned that Coach Butts was an assistant in 2013 when Dr. Phillips won their 3rd consecutive state championship. They are first cousins, Mark.
And with that free throw, that hits the 35-point margin. So when the clock starts again, it does not stop.
So I think we've pretty much covered Coach Butts in what's been an amazing head coaching career. But once again, his team, the women's basketball, will be back on Wednesday with a 10-0 record.
Jamarius Edler picks up the layup.
And so we get back to this game, Wekiva. Of course, now barring what would be probably, in one aspect, the greatest comeback ever, being that we are now in a running clock. They're going to go 3-4 on the season. A much-needed victory after a very challenging start. That's Lee going bank and cutting that lead to 63-29. And Coach Simmons calls the timeout for Lake Region.
Andrew Lee on the basket will pause for a full timeout called by the Thunder. So we'll take the timeout with him. We'll be back for the last 5 minutes, 14 seconds from Mustang Arena. We invite you to join us again on Wednesday night as the ladies take on Eustis. Then on Friday, the girls will be hosting Dr. Phillips. Both of those games here at Mustang Arena and live streamed on YouTube and the NFHS network. Welcome back to Mustang Arena, where we are poised to go into the last 5 minutes and 14 seconds. Again, we are in a running clock scenario, so once the clock restarts from the timeout, it will not stop again unless someone else calls a timeout.
And Wekiva with a 63-31 lead. And speaking of schedules, as you heard Mark, public address announced the women will be back on Wednesday, but the men, the team you're watching now is Hammond, launches. It clanks off the rim. Lake Region will get a chance to cut that lead under 35. But the men's team will close out the 2021 calendar year against Apopka. They'll be on the road Thursday night. That's the 16th. So, of course, that'll be a big game. Always geography rivalry. And certainly they'll be going in off a win, which is best possible situation. Profit clears that rebound, and now he draws the foul at the other end as we approach 4 minutes remaining in this ball game.
Foul called against number 30, Trevin West. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 4th of this half. So now those fouls that I mentioned are coming into play. Not that the outcome of the game is in any particular jeopardy, as Vosi Profit 4-3 from Jamarek Hammond. But in any case, not that the outcome of the game is in jeopardy, but nevertheless, that is 4 fouls for Trevin West. If he fouls out, that will force Sharon Green to come in, and there will be no subs remaining. 10 seconds in the backcourt. Mustang ball. And here comes a Mustang fire drill. (66-31). Mustang Arena, Wekiva with the lead. And again, Wekiva will up its record to 3-4. Griffin got it. Joshua Griffin and 1. Foul is called against number 3, Jamarius Edler, his 3rd personal foul, the team's 5th. Griffin shooting 1. Timeout Mustangs, full timeout.
So when we return, Joshua Griffin, the big man, will be at the line looking to up his 2 points. Again, 68-31, Mustang Arena, the site. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, along with the broadcast production
where do you want them to go if they did?
department here at Wekiva, headed up by Keith Dickerson, who also handles the production duties for each of our broadcasts. Wekiva enjoying a 68-31 lead, and they will up their record to 3-4 after a very challenging start to the season. That's Josh Griffin at the line. And Lake Region will take over possession of the ball. Meanwhile, at the other end, Livingston gets his hand on it twice, but that does not stop West, who powers his way up.
Trevin West for 2.
That'll cut the lead to 69-33. And now if you're Wekiva and your coach Lubin, you want to use this for some practice to work on your execution. Try to continue to get some smoothness, become more polished. Certainly that's something that's got to make them happy, getting that turnover. And now stop, pop, and drop. Nice touch for Hardy.
Jermaine Hardy for 2.
Well, Hardy with 7 points. Come back the other way. Griffin clearing the glass. The long outlet to Charles, who pops, and drops.
Griffin to Charles.
So nice looking transition opportunities for Wekiva. Very smooth. Ball never touched the ground as they moved it up court, and we drop under 2 minutes remaining. If you're new to high school basketball in the state of Florida, the clock is not stopping. It's a running clock. 35-point lead or more establishes that running clock. And now drain the rain.
Darius Livingston from Isaiah Bannister for 3.
1:30 remaining. And
foul called against Mustangs number 4, Isaiah Bannister, his 4th personal foul. And the team's 6th at the line, shooting 2, Brenton McKinley.
McKinley at the line with 7 points. 4 players for Lake Region have 7 points. Izanati, Edler, and McKinney in West as we approach 1 minute remaining. So once again, Wekiva.
Sharon Green checks into the game for Lake Region. So Green will get a playing credit after all for this game.
Wekiva will up its record to 3-4. I don't know if you necessarily go as far as saying it's consternation, but certainly with about a minute remaining in this first quarter, the script was not being followed. Wekiva down 9-7. They scored 6 consecutive, and to use an old cliche, they never looked back. And really the telltale stat was turnovers. They turned the ball over 7 times in that first quarter. They've turned it over 3 since then. And certainly, once again, that reflects the score as this game is going to end at the free throw line.
Push is called against Isaiah Bannister, his 5th personal foul. He retires from the game with 6 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. Checking in for him is Joshua Griffin at the line, shooting Joshua Izanati.
And so Wekiva, as there is the buzzer, will head into their crosstown rivalry against Apopka. The Blue Darters on Thursday, this is December 16th, with a 3-4 record. Your final score, 76-36. From 1 minute on, the script of Wekiva being the favorite followed. Take us home, Mark.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. 76-36, the final score here on Monday night basketball action. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Thunder athletes. Thanks also to those of you who joined us on YouTube or the NFHS Network. Your next chance to catch Wekiva in action is coming up on Wednesday for hoops. It will be the ladies taking the court, and that will be against Eustis. The ladies will also be back on the court on Friday to take on the Dr. Phillips Panthers. Both of those games also will be live streamed on YouTube and the NFHS Network. For the boys, their next game will be on the road at Apopka in their crosstown rivalry. That's coming up in just 3 days. This Thursday, they will be at Apopka for that crosstown matchup. My thanks to Keith Dickerson and his entire team at Wekiva TV Broadcast Production. Joining us for tonight's contest, this has been a presentation of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. Good night from a dimly lit Mustang Arena.